Hello everyone, Luke here. Welcome to another MyTeam video. This time around it is the fastest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. It is time for the Italian Grand Prix. There has been a bit of F1 news in the game before this race, and that is that Kimi Räikkönen is going to retire from Formula 1, so that should shake things up with the driver lineup for next season. So it might be interesting to see who moves around and maybe who becomes available when it's contract renewal time. Last time around in Belgium, one of our best finishers of the season so far. Our highest finish since the Canadian Grand Prix. We got 6th position on the last lap from Alex Albon. Nick finished down in 19th. That's pretty standard for the second driver this season. He remains last in the championship, whereas I have moved up quite a long way. As you can see, 8th in the championship at the moment. Not too far behind Carlos Sainz, but the Racing Point team are looking very good. So I'd expect Perez and Stroll to probably pass me as the season goes on. We've had a couple of developments put on the car, just a few small things which should hopefully improve the reliability, because I think that will be a problem in the final few races. But for now, let's see how we do at Italy. Can we match our finish from last time around? Here we go then, time for qualifying at Italy. How high up the grid can we get? I'm not expecting to be amazing in qualifying. If practice was anything to go by, I've gone for a very aggressive setup in a straight line, so that probably means I'm going to struggle through some of these corners. So qualifying especially could be difficult. What it might mean though is in the race, once we've got DRS, should be a bit easier for me to overtake a few guys, and might just make it a bit easier for me to defend into some of these corners as well. Not too bad. Not too bad at the moment, hovering around 10th position. I expect to lose a bit of time in the Lesmos, especially when you start cornering like that. You're definitely going to drop down the order. You can see 18th position when we're 8th heading into them corners, so not good whatsoever. Need to nail this final sector if I want to get a decent position on the grid for this race. Not too bad through there. Avoid that curve on the left hand side which spits you out towards the wall if you hit it too much. Kept it fairly clean so far. One corner to go with the Parabolica. Again, running wide, not really troubling the apex whatsoever, and this is going to be one of our worst qualifying sessions in a while. 18th position, not good whatsoever. Not good at all.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
We finished ahead of Nick still. He's up in 19th, which isn't too bad for him, to be honest. Have got a new rival as well for the rest of the season. That is Daniel Ricciardo. He's up into 11th position, so it might be hard to beat him. And it might be hard to get points around here. I thought we'd do fairly well. Probably not as well as Belgium, but it looks like it is going to be a struggle to get points. But let's see what we can do in the race. See if we can use that straight line speed to maybe gain a few positions.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6 mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Lance Stroll, And Verstappen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Ocon, and Sergio Perez. Ricciardo, Kvyat, Kimi Raikkonen, and Gasly, Albon, Magnussen, Lando Norris, and the owner driver, De Vries, Grosjean, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So let's see what we can do in this race then, after one of our worst qualifying sessions for a while. Going for the one-stop strategy, starting on the medium tyres, 16 laps of them, and then going for the softs at the end, hoping to do something similar to what I did last time out in Belgium, where I can gain a couple of places on those softer tyres at the end, because I imagine most of the rest of the field will be starting on the softs, then going to the mediums, but I don't think it's going to end quite as well as last time. Can't see us getting up into the top 6. Let's just try and aim, see if we can manage to get a point or two in this race. Underway then at the Italian Grand Prix. Let's just give it all on the run down to turn 1. Nearly ended up on the grass. See how many cars we can go up the inside of here. Very close to spinning Kvyat around. It's always a bit messy. Turn 1 at Monza, but we have managed to go up a couple of places. Gasly trying everything to try and squeeze us off, and we've got Norris on the outside as well. Can we try and outbrake Gasly on the outside here? Don't think we'll be able to. We'll gone very late into the corner, might just about manage to make it through here. We have done, so that's a couple of places gained. You can just see how much that's cost us to all those cars ahead already getting involved in that battle in the early stages. So a few places gained. Norris and Gasly still battling behind us, so hopefully they'll distract each other for a few laps, allow us to try and get away. Jeff seems fairly pleased with how that start's gone, and I can't say I blame him. Going on the inside, you always get squeezed, but you're less likely to get taken out by someone else, which is much worse. You'd rather lose a few places from having to take a much tighter line than end up spinning out, obviously. But we're coming up to the end of the first lap, as it looks like there's all manner of chaos going on up ahead of us. Norris now trying to go all the way up the inside of us, but I'm just going to use all tools at my disposal and just look at the straight line speed that I've got here. Able to get past Albon, nearly, still sort of there, so I think I'm just going to wait another day for that one. But we are up into 15th position. Definitely seems to be, I think, Raikkonen who's holding everyone up at the moment in this queue. Kvyat seems to have escaped now that he's got away. I just can't. Well, can I get close enough to have an overtake here? Me and Sainz getting very close to bumping each other there. I think Norris has made a mistake as well behind us. So let's see if we can just use everything. Try and have a go at Carlos Sainz here. Just go straight round the outside of Curva Grande. Ahead before the braking zone. That's another place gained. Up to 14th.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Don't know what happened with Kvyat and Raikkonen there, but that might give me a chance to go down the inside of Sergio Perez, and I've ended up forcing him wide, and Carlos Sainz has also followed through ever so slightly. That's not the best exit through there, so now it's just a straight drag race between me and the McLaren. I think I should just about have it covered because I've got the inside line for the chicane, and yes, I've managed to stay ahead for now, but Kvyat and Raikkonen really held each other up there. That allowed me to get in range, but unfortunately I think it has cost me a bit of time. Did get ahead of Perez though, so up into 14th position. I think some of these on the soft tyres are just starting to struggle with grip. Got a better exit through the second Lesmo, and if I'm brave enough on the brakes, can get down the inside of Daniel Kvyat. That puts me up into 8th position. We have seen a few pit stops now from some of those who started on the older hard tyres, on the older soft tyres, sorry, inside the top 10. So a few of them are making their first pit stop. We've still got a few laps to go before our first stop, but we are now up into 8th position. And as you can see, quite a few of the other drivers starting to come into the pits as well.
Car in front is 1.5 seconds.
Into the lead of the race then. Can't see it lasting long, seeing as Bottas, Leclerc and Hamilton are right behind us. So everyone apart from me, I'm guessing, has now made their first stop. We've still got, I think, another 3 or 4 laps to go before we come into the pits. So let's see where we come out after that stop. And imagine we'll be in about 13th, 14th place, because everyone who we were battling with should now be pulling away from us. But maybe, just maybe, this strategy will come to us at the end of the race. Look at all the cars that are behind me. That's so much quicker than me. Leclerc definitely passed me under yellow flags there and seems to have got away with it. That is just not on whatsoever. Albon.
Gate clear.
Alex Albon is out of the race. Hopefully I didn't damage my front wing on the back of Leclerc either there. No, I didn't. So Albon's out. That's one less car for us to deal with. We have been passed by Leclerc, and he's probably going to go on to win this race now, because I'm going to be holding up these Mercedes, not intentionally. It's just so difficult for them to pass me during these next 2 corners. Because I'm on the older tyres, I've got so little grip, although I've had a very bad run there. This might give Bottas the chance he needs to get ahead. True Bottas fashion, unable to take the opportunity. So I stay in 2nd place for now. I'll be pitting in 2 laps time. Right, pit stop time then. Let's see where we come out. Dropped to 5th before that pit stop. Very good stop from the team there. Let's see where we come out afterwards. We were ahead of Sainz and a few of these others before, but just because they've had the better tyres, obviously they're now well ahead of us. So you can see we are down into 14th position. But I've got some very fresh soft tyres on my car, and I want to make full use of them. So I could still get some points in this race. Just going to have a very exciting final 11 laps. And it might start now, because we are closing up to the back of Kvyat. I'm probably just a bit too far behind to have a go. And I've just somehow got the car stopped in time and made that overtake. I wasn't expecting to, but that's the grip we've got at this moment in time. Let's carry on this form. He will have DRS down the next straight though, and I'm too far behind Perez to get it off the racing point. But you can just see the grip I get coming out the corner. Up into 13th already. Let's see how high up we can manage to get. This worked last time on Kvyat, and it's somehow worked again, despite the fact we nearly wiped out Sergio Perez there. We gained another position. Seem to like that second chicane dive bomb. Hopefully I'll be trying it in a lap's time on the racing point of Perez up to 12. So much traction coming out of that first chicane, and I think we're going to be ahead before we even get to the braking zone here. There we go, on the inside on Curva Grande, ahead before the braking zone. That's 11th. I said we might get some points. There's 10th place just ahead of us. We are absolutely flying on these soft tyres. Shame we couldn't do this in qualifying really, because who knows where we might have started. But for now, up into 11th, Stroll right ahead of us. He's on the hard tyres, so he should have no grip whatsoever here. And he hasn't got DRS. I'm going to try and go around the outside, because obviously that leaves me onto the racing line. And it has worked. And as quickly as that, we've passed a car each lap since we got out the pits. We're up into the points. Raikkonen, 2.4 seconds ahead. Ricciardo, our rival, he's 6.4 ahead. That's probably a bit too far. Let's just see how high up we can get. Next target, Kimi Raikkonen. I'm already starting to struggle for traction through some of these corners. Can I go for a very late move down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen into the first chicane? We got it done. Already up into 9th position.
Brilliant. Nice move.
Why thank you, Jeff. It was a nice move. Don't think we'll be able to catch his teammate up. Giovinazzi has dropped behind Ricciardo, but it was crucial that we made that move, because Perez was actually starting to close up ever so slightly after he'd got ahead of his teammate. So 9th place. Think this might be the highest we can do. Definitely going to give catching Giovinazzi a try though.
This is your final lap of the race.
You can see as we come on to the final lap of this race, we are getting agonisingly close to the back of Giovinazzi, but I think we're just starting to run out of a bit of grip on these tyres. Trying everything coming out of the corners, but I just don't seem to have the same traction as him. He always just pulls away. I think if we'd have got within DRS range last time around, might just have had a chance of finishing ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
I'm going to try everything, but I can't see now, a second behind, how I can get ahead of him. Still being a very good race, got to say, after qualifying 18th, going up 9 positions, absolutely thrown everything at this race. Some risky overtakes, to say the least, into that second chicane. Didn't get any damage, thankfully, and that helped us up the field. And we are going to come home in 9th position, then sandwiched between the 2 Alfa Romeos, who seem to be improving. All of a sudden, Giovinazzi is going to end up finishing 8th, and Raikkonen in 10th place. But for myself, as I come around the final corner, it's another 2 points. Start of the weekend, I'd have thought we could have done better, but I'd have definitely taken that after qualifying 9th position.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Not too surprised to get driver today after gaining 9 positions. That just seems to be how the game works it out. And Ferrari taking a win at Monza. It's almost like it's scripted to happen.
What a great win here at Monza.
We'll get a nice look at the crowd.
Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
So Leclerc, understandably happy after winning the Italian Grand Prix. We're going to move up a level on the podium pass.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So looking at the Constructors' Championship now, we're in 7th position, 53 points. I'm starting to wonder if we can catch McLaren up because they really don't seem to be doing well at the moment. Renault jumped ahead of Racing Point in the drivers. We are now tied on points with Carlos Sainz in 7th position. Ocon catching us up. There seems to be certain races where the Renault is better than the Racing Point, and obviously vice versa as well. So when Renault are off the pace, we seem to be able to beat them. When Racing Points are off the pace, we seem to be able to beat them as well. Alfa Romeo starting to perform really strongly as well. Raikkonen picking up a point. Giovinazzi picking up another 4. You can see there, we finished in 9th position. Really chucked everything at it in the race. I think sticking in that train in the opening stages while we were on the slower tyres definitely helped. Teammate Nick De Vries finished down in 19th. In the end, he was overtaken by Grosjean, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm fairly happy with how that race went, if I'm being honest. Now we'll have an interview with Claire, see what she has to ask us, and then let's see how we can improve next time.
Out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You were cutting your way through the field during the race. There's quite a buzz around this team at the moment. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, you should concentrate on the buzz around me. I've just gained 9 places.
Appreciate your time.
When I was in a different postcode for some of them overtakes into the chicane, I nearly took out Sergio Perez. Somehow didn't take out Daniel Kvyat as well. But yeah, there we go. 9th position, 2 more points. Ended up 3-all in the rivalry that time around with Ricciardo. So it is now 5-4. After qualifying, not too bad to say. He definitely looked as though he had the faster car around this circuit. Gain a bit of acclaim, don't gain any level for that, but we will have reached all our sponsor bonuses, which really didn't look likely after qualifying. Didn't think I'd finish in the top 10, if I'm being honest. I was hoping I would, but there we go. That's an extra bit of bonus money as well. No damage. Getting pretty good at not damaging the car. I don't think we'll get as lucky next time around in Singapore, but let's hope we can spend some of that money just to improve the car even further, ready for next season where I do want to be challenging for podiums and victories. And that is pretty much it then. After the Italian Grand Prix, we've done 15 rounds of this season. Qualifying was a bit of a disaster. We had a good start, managed to keep it clean, and then took full advantage, obviously, of those soft tyres towards the end of the race, which I think is going to be the tactic I'm going to do more often. It worked brilliantly in Belgium, worked again there in Monza. Start on the harder set.
I think we've got room for some more investment.
Start on the harder set of tyres and then use the softs at the end, and who knows, maybe we can even pick up a fastest lap point. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time around.